Okay, so today we're gonna do You Already Know Hebrew, Lesson 4. So at least by now, some of this stuff should begin to look familiar to you. I didn't say you have to know it all, but when I write this on the board, you should at least know why I've written it on the board, what I'm writing, and what I'm getting ready to go over, right? Does that at least like have some kind of... So I'll tell you guys a cool story. I like stories. Yesterday, we were in Sacramento, and there's a place called Falafel Corner. They have the best falafel that I've tasted outside of Israel, hands down. And I'm in there. Oh, well, my mom, but yeah. Everybody knows she cooks better than anybody I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
Right?
You
stay in Torah, right?
Stay in Torah.
So I'm in there, and I come out the restroom, and I have on a shirt similar to this one. And the guy goes, "You have Hebrew on your shirt." I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "What did it say?" And it says, what did it say? No, it says, Shorshim Malkutim, Royal Roots. He goes, yeah. He said, Medaver Ivrit? Can? Right? Yeah. And he's like, mind blown, right? Okay. And so he goes, we start talking a little bit, and he goes, "You're a Hebrew, huh?" Like that. I'm from Israel. He said, "But you're a Hebrew, huh?" And so that for all of us who have had the experience of running across Israelis, Jewish people, Palestinians, anybody who knows that people live in the land, the first thing they ask you is, "Oh, so you're Jewish?" Right? So you already know that experience. So when a person goes, "Oh, you're Hebrew, huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, how you know?" Points me to two of his friends, and those two guys right there, my friends, they're from Israel too. They're Hebrew. Two Ethiopian guys here right there, right? So I'm like, he didn't say Jewish. So I'm still like, I'm trying to see if he really know what he's saying or if he's just like playing around, right? So he says some things to him, and Sababa. And he's like, "So you've been to Israel?" He's like, "Yeah." And we start talking about places, and he's like, mind just blown, right? So he goes, he said, "You know, I've been really studying the Hebrew people." Like, you know what he's talking about now. And he's like, Hebrew. And I was just like, this was like, and so it showed me something, once again, because we make these cultural connections every day. And how they happen is sometimes through language. And so one part of making that cultural connection in people's minds is us taking back our language. Dialect, and I start most of my videos like this, dialect has always been a thing. The Palestinians who know Hebrew say words differently. The Arabic people who speak Arabic and Hebrew say words differently. We have to stop that, because in reality, we can communicate with people who speak English, who are from the South, who speak English, who are from the East Coast, who speak English, who are from the Midwest, who speak English that are from... We can communicate because the accent or how you say the word doesn't take away from how we're communicating, right? I know when a person says shalom, that they're saying shalom, but I'm going to argue with a person and say, no, you need to say shalom. And you can't, like, we're not going to do that. So every time I put these up here, I go through those moments like that. I'll end the story with this. He knew exactly what we were saying, because I pulled up Malka's video from the women's conference, and she's singing, why is the verse far from my mind right now? No, not Baruch haba. She's saying,
who's like our king?
Who is like Yah among the gods,
yeah.
Right? And so she said, it's Exodus. And so I showed him, he's like, "So you guys keep Shabbat, like Hebrew, right?" I'm like, "Hebrew." So I was like, "How about this?" So I pull the video, and I pull it out. I'm like, "Watch this." This is all at Falafel Corner, mind you. So I'm like, "Watch this." We just at a women's conference. Watch this. And he start singing along with it.
Wow.
Now, Malka, very new to Hebrew. He's fluent, but somehow they were able to communicate.
Correct.
We're not going to play those silly games. We can learn anything as we progress, but we have to start somewhere. We're going to start somewhere. All right? So we're going back over these vowel points again. Because I know people will jump on the video and be like, why they got them vowel points? That's the Masoret. And they did X, Y, and Z. And I say, I give a story sometimes. All right. So, like I showed you before, this is all pictures. Pictures. So this picture looks like this, and this picture makes a sound. So we'll start from this way, and we're actually going to make our way across just to practice putting in our mind, reading in the correct direction. Hebrew goes from right to left. From right to left. Okay? So this point, I circled them so you can see what it was. Remember that the aleph above it is just a placeholder. I could have put a hey there. I could have put whatever, and it's going to make a sound. Okay? It's going to make this sound. So this one is ah. A. O. Come back over here. Ah. A. O. Ah. E. Ooh. Okay? Like I said, we already know Hebrew because all those sounds are familiar. I just heard something just now while I was doing this, and it just blew my mind. You know, they used to say we sound like monkeys when we talk? Didn't they?
Yeah.
Didn't the Europeans say we sound like monkeys? When we just said ah, a, e, ah, ooh, oh. What does that sound like? Maybe we always knew these sounds. Maybe our original language had these sounds, and they tried to say we sounded like something primitive. But remember, sound is in nature. Sound is a pulse and a vibration that everything around you makes. We don't have that in European experience because sound is not a way of life for them. But for the Hebrew, for the Afro-Asiatic, sound and pulse is everything. So these sounds, and not just having ah, eh, but having ah, e, ooh, eh, like we make all those sounds. It's funny because Malka.
There you go.
I'm sorry. I'm this
She got
experience.
funkified.
She got funkified. We were at, like you said, we were at the women's conference, and we were talking about it being on the one and being a hot and why David was dancing, and she started feeling that one. She was like, but sound, that feeling. Why did the pulse make her make a sound? So the sound that we have in our language. We read through this, and we're going to read through a little bit today, so we're going to read through another passage in Bereshit. When the Ruach hovered, it created a vibration. And all of the sound was created at that moment. He didn't make just some sound. He didn't make just some letters. He used all of the vibrations that are possible to be experienced in our realm, and he interjected them into our space so that we could then use them. So don't shut down sounds because somebody else used them. We have all the sounds because we are first man. We come from the ground, which means we felt the first vibration of creation. Does that make sense? Okay. Okay. So we're gonna go back over. We learned some words. It actually was 2 weeks ago, and so I want to go back over some of those and see if we kind of remember some of them. All right, so I'm going to erase this. If you're online, you can screen capture it and then write them down for yourself. So we went over the words for mom, or mother, father, came, who. I think that was it, huh? I think that was kind of the extent of it. So we're going to look over those just briefly, and I'm going to add a couple. All right, so I'm just going to write the sentences. I'm not going to put vowel points because I think we know these sounds by now. What do you guys think? If I put that up here, we're going to start from this side. I'm going to give a whack at it. Who wants to try it? Abba. Okay, so it means what?
Father.
Father. Ba. Ba.
King.
Father came. Very good. I told you sometimes instead of just giving it to you, we'll just do the motion. It's like, oh, came. Because now what did it do? When you see ba, right? Now you're going to, in your mind, see the picture of me going like this. I'll give you another one. I think I've told you this one. Hine. Here. So now you're like, hine, here. It's that adding a action to that word. Okay, so Abba, Father came. Okay, what if I do this? Ooh, no. Or im. So then who came?
Mother came.
Okay, what if I do like this?
My mother came. To me.
Very good. The yod, I just threw it in there without explaining. The yod in front of this verb, right, is mine. My, not mine, but my. So my mother came. All right. All right, I got another one. How about that one? Beni. Beni. Ba. Who?
My son came. Ben.
Right. Right. Okay. What about? Oh, okay. I'll give you this one. This is just to confuse you because I'm cruel like that. Find out what that is.
What the?
I said died.
Sound is giving you a sound. The vav is going to give you a sound.
Dividing.
It's just a sound. Don't say the vowel. Don't say the consonant. Just give me the vowel sound to that. Who? Dodi. Ba. Okay, so it's my something, right? Uncle. Yep.
I looked it up
Yeah.
yesterday. I was looking at word, working on that word
Right, you knew it was
yesterday.
one. Exactly. Dodi ba, which is also interesting because it would be the same word for Dawid, David. It's same similar because beloved. It's that person that's close and beloved. So it kind of is like your uncles, right? Right? Okay. Okay. So you get how that works. So we got that. You remember those word pictures is what I was hoping, that those letters and those sounds and those things I showed you earlier worked out. Okay, so now we're going to add a couple of things. And let me just go back over these two pictures. I don't know if somebody might have not remembered. Mem, final mem. It's like a closed box. This one's like a triangle with looks like a house. Like a little, like a stick house, right? Mem, final mem. And for people who are learning paleo, that is a paleo mem.
Yes.
Okay? Huh? There's no finals in paleo. It is what it is. You just know because it's at the end of a word, which is probably the easier way to go about it. It's at the end, it's a final. Right? Alright. So let's do some new ones. We're gonna do noon, since we got that mem, and we're gonna work with some more words. Noon is like this. Paleo noon is like that. So it's just like one less little leg. And then with that noon, there is a final noon. There is this imaginary line with Hebrew words. And that final mem looks like a long vav almost, right? So it's a final mem. It's going to be at the end. If you see it in the middle of a word, it's not a noon, it's a vav. That's the easiest way to not get confused. If it's not at the end, right, then it's not a final noon.
Anytime you see it at the end.
Not anytime you see it at the end. It's just never in the middle.
Okay.
You never in the middle are you going to see this. You could see a vav at the end, and that's when you'll have to look at that's when you'll have to look at where the line is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But if it's in the middle, and you're like, like if I wrote Dawid again, right? If I wrote Dawid again, right? This is in the middle, so this is what?
The-
a vav or a was, right? It's not this. It's kind of like mentally put that in your head. All right. So I gave you guys, you remember who me is? Me? Me? Me.
What?
Me. Nah. Ma.
Ma
Ma.
is what?
Me.
Ani.
Me. Me. Just me. Not me like me. Hebrew me. Huldah? No.
Me is us.
No. Me.
Me is something like
Me
that.
is Meba. Meba. Remember that one?
I? Oh.
Who?
Okay.
Me is who. This is where it's I'm gonna give you these today. It's gonna get a little confusing. Me is who. Ma is not my mama. In New York talk, ma? No. Ma is what? Okay, so me, who? Write it down.
Me is who?
Me, who? Me, who? Right? Me, who? Ma,
What?
what? All right, I'm gonna give you. See, you got those right. Me, who, ma, what? This is when it gets fun. This is when it gets fun. All right. A. So, where? And actually, like like where is it? Like where if I said like where am I going or where is it? It's like in Hebrew it's Epho ima. Where's my mom? Epho ima. So A is where?
You can just leave her
A where? Okay. This is where it gets a little weird. He, right? He. Hey. You sure I read it right? With the dot, yod, aleph. He. Now this is I don't know why. He is she.
Okay.
She. In the most non-binary way possible, he is she. Okay. Can we see the? Oh, you can see it. Okay. I know. Okay. I know. All right. So, kind of word picture these into your head, like just ma. What? Ma. Me. Where? Bunch of sounds. Ma. He. She. Okay. Screenshot that. That is where it gets a little. This is as tricky as it gets, I'm sure. Like for me, I was just like, okay, he is a she, and he is who? We'll get to that one. He is who?
What?
Right. I know. Right? Like how? How is that? It's not supposed to make me crazy. All right. So I'm gonna give you some sentences, and we're gonna work through them. Let me give you one more. Okay. So in feminine words, we're gonna learn our first feminine word because Hebrew is very gender specific when you're talking about something. There's some things that even if they are attributed to a male, they still have a gender. Okay, does that make sense? So if it's a, let me think of something that has like a,
Is that like Spanish?
Yeah.
it's like Spanish, very much so, where you have like,
L and La and all that.
where is,
Muchacha,
right, El,
muchacho.
ella,
Uh-huh.
right? You got like my Hebrew words in my,
Mijo, mija,
ella, right.
mijo, mija.
Mijo, mi, right, hijo, hija, like that, all those things, very, very the same. So you're never confused at who or what Yah is talking about in scripture. Because there is a gender. A animal is given a gender, like he's like, it's a she ass. So you know it's like, oh, okay. Oh, voice is so immature, he's like 100. Right, like ma, old man. So very, very specific. Okay, so for all intents and purposes, most of the time, feminine singular words will end in a hey. Okay? Just for now. So, a hey. So a hey looks like this, remember? Correct? Okay. So I gave you ba. Like, ba. Right? That in the feminine looks like this. No different sound, right? Make sure I'm writing it right for you guys. Yeah. Not a different sound, but, I mean, not a different word, just a different sound. Ba, ba, ah. Okay. Ba, ba, ah. So, if I say, let me see. What can we use ba, ah? So we would say, instead of just ima, ba, because my ima is a woman, we would say im, ba, ah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Of, ba. Make sense? Make sense? So you even where they're going or what they're doing has their gender attached to it. Okay? Make sense? Okay, so, if I had right here, I'll leave this up. If I was putting a son, if I say Benny, my son, which side would Benny go on? Right, very good. What if I said Bati? Bati.
Left side.
Left side, right? Because that is right. Very good. Okay. Ooh. This doesn't really work. It's not a thing. I was trying to think of something that was masculine and feminine. But, okay, if I said Ahat, ba. I said one came. But I said Ahat. Which side would it go on?
Right side.
Yep.
Freeman?
Ahat, right? When we count, it's feminine. Ahat is feminine. Ahad is masculine. Right? See, I just used one so you can see a word that wasn't like a actual word. So females and small children or feminine objects are counted like the Hachita and Shalosh Arhamish. They're counted in the feminine because the mother is the first one who teaches her children how to count. So all children will know how to count in the feminine first. And then when they start to learn objects, and those objects being masculine or feminine, then they'll learn how to count both in the masculine and the feminine. Okay? Now, because of this, it's kind of cool. If we're all in this room and I was addressing this whole room, I would say Akim. Because one masculine presence in the room makes the whole room masculine. I know feminists have a problem with that, but it's how it works. It's how it works. The dominant, because you can use something in the masculine for a woman and not take away her femininity, if you will. But if you say something to a man in the feminine, it doesn't quite work the same way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is that because, like, when a woman is married to her husband, she becomes the submissive one?
Exactly. It blends in and he becomes the head. Right, so that is the dominant. Exactly. Okay. I'll give you another word. I like seeing words in compounds because it shows me the brilliance of, like, Hebrew, right? So, noon, and my noon always has this, like, weird thing it has at the top because my handwriting sucks. So, noon, bet, right? Yod, aleph. And I'm going to give you your points. As I write them in, say them. Okay? What's this sound?
Nah.
Just the sound by itself. Just the vowel point. Okay. Oops.
B.
Or just the sound.
E.
E. Okay. So let's put them together. Blend it. Na. B. That's it. Nabi.
Prophet.
Exactly. Nabi is a prophet. prophet. So we kind of played around with a little bit of this. And I was showing the people last week this, we did this word hokmah, hokam, and it's the word for wisdom. And I showed them that some words carry a compound or a dual meaning to give you the full word. There's stuff in the word. Each letter tells a story. Combined, you know this is prophet. But as you start to dissect the word, then you can tell what the word means. If anybody's seen me do the word, because I've done it here, on what a prophet is, I'll give it to you. It literally means the one who uncovers the seed. That's what a prophet is, right? Want to play with it a little bit to see if I'm just like making that up?
No.
All right. Noon is what?
Seed.
Seed, fish, activity, life. One of my favorite just like who we are verses is like all other nations are like a drip from a vessel. Like it's just like nothing. Like you accidentally happened. Like literally not accidentally, 'cause it's on purpose. Like accidentally on purpose, right? So when he's talking about life or seed in scripture, what life or what seed or what activity does Yah care about?
That of the Hebrews.
So
That's gonna be yours.
So yes, it's us. It's us. It's the Hebrews. His seed.
His name.
All right. It said, "You of all nations have I loved." That's why I chastise you. Man, nobody else. And it literally says, it doesn't say you like you and some others. There's a word in Hebrew, and we'll go over this probably next week. It's word Anoki. And Jonah, one of our favorite prophets, uses that word because he goes, when he says, I am a Hebrew, when the storm is happening and all this stuff, I'm a Hebrew, that's why it's happening. He doesn't say, Ani Ivri, all right? He says, Anoki Ivri, which means that I am, and ain't nobody else on this boat. That is very powerful, right? Very powerful. So it's very right. It's very specific. It's very specific, right? So okay, so it's his seed. So we have the noon, and if we just for now move this bet, we have the word what?
If you move.
Bet aleph. We just did it. Ba. What's ba mean? Ba. Cain. Cain. Okay. What do all the prophets do, and who do they come to? To who?
The
To
Hebrew.
who?
The Hebrew.
They come to the seed. The whole purpose of the prophet is to come to the people. Right? Right? So then this yod up here, arm, hand, work, deed. The work of the prophet is to come to the seed and then uncover it. He's doing the work of Yah. All the work of Yah is to uncover our iniquity, what we're doing, and to put us back in the right relationship. Right?
Like replanting. Like
Working the soil, replanting, bringing the life back into it. So then, just to make it hit home, and I should have a verse because I wasn't planning on going here, but if you guys want to look it up, just by what I said, the Hamashiach says that I've come not to destroy it, because he's a prophet, right? But to fulfill it. Which means to put it back into its right place. As a prophet, I'm coming to the seed to do the work, right? To bring revelation, to preach, to uncover what's been hidden. He talks to the Pharisees like, all those extra burdens, and y'all making it tough for the people. And the purpose of the prophet, teacher, preacher, is to uncover it, not to cover it. So anytime somebody claims to be a prophet and they're concealing or covering, not a prophet. They're supposed to make it live and plain so that people can do the law of the Father.
Isn't it also to do the work of the head? Of the olive?
Right. The work of the olive. Right. He's first. And whose house is it? If we just have a bed, we don't. Right, because it's my house, but it's not our house.
No.
So whose house is it? Because if we put a bed,
His house.
and it's Yah's house.
Yes.
So then who's the authority over the house? Right. Okay. Right. Does anybody have, let's see. So, I'll give you this and then I'll be out your way. So there is no to be verb in Hebrew. And by to be verb, I mean this. Okay, if I wrote, I think I gave you guys this last week. I am a father. And while I'm on this, I feel like when I was writing it, like, did I write that backwards? Okay, no. I am a father. If I say I am a father in English, everybody knows that I'm lying. Because I better be lying. I am not a father, right? So, right. But when you say it in English, it's like it's automatically known, and there's really no other way to say I am the father without saying I am the father. We have this contention amongst our people, and we can probably deal with this next week. Somebody make a note of this idea of Ahaya, Yahuwah. It's a big thing. And it's not either or, it's both. But in English, I would say I am a father. But in Hebrew, if I said I am a father, I would say I am a father. And somebody would go, Ma? Like what? Right? I would have to some way let everyone know I am talking about someone else outside of myself. So when we get in Genesis where he says, my name shall be Aa, Esher, Aa, or Ahaya, right? Right. Then you know he's talking. But what you're going to get later when Moshe goes and tells the people, he doesn't say, I am. He says, he is. Because you can't say, I am without saying you are. You have to then point it back to the person. So the proper way for me to say this is, he is a father, and then he would say, I am a father. Right? I would have to remove myself out of it for it to be actually proper. Okay? So the reason why in the Brit Hadashah in the New Testament, why they sought to kill the Hamashiach is because he said, Ahaya. He didn't say Yahuwah. He said, I am.
Right.
They're like, oh, you gotta die. Because you know better. You know better than to say, you should have said, he is the Father, and then let the Father say,
I am.
you don't say, I am the Father. So I'm just showing you that because when I was saying it, I'm like, obviously that doesn't work for me. So in Hebrew, though, this part, switching gears, is not actually there. It's not there. It's just I, Father. So it would be like this.
Because it's a verb. Fathering is a verb.
Right. So it's already action. I don't have to say I am. You cannot be a father and not be a father. That doesn't work in our culture. You can't be walking around talking about, yeah, I got 7 kids, and then not providing for none of your kids. It's our brains like short circuits. Hebrews are like, what, you got kids, but you don't take care of your kids? So is you really a father? Who their real daddy? Like, right? You start going like 50 million different directions. So you don't have to say the I am, because the fact that you're a father means that you're already carrying out an action. I don't have to give you that part, okay? So it would be Ani, Av, right? Ani, I. It's just I, Father. I, Father.
And we said
Who? Right? Who? Right? Me. Right? You see it? It makes sense, right? So you're not going to see this because it's already implied. So when you read through, whenever you see this in English, somebody put it there to make sense to you. It's funny because when you see people come from other countries, they'd be like, I, Jane. They don't have like, I am Jane. It's like a waste of words. Like, I, Jane. And we think it's primitive, but why do I have to tell you, I am Jane? Ain't I here? Aren't I? Aren't I here? Am I not standing before you? I'm telling you I'm Jane. I don't have to give you the extra waste of words. People have very few words. Okay, I got, I'll give you this one, because we already have Father up there. And then we'll translate it. now you guys translate it for me. I gave you that one. A.
Abi.
Mhm.
Abi.
Mhm. A and B.
Abi.
I'll give you. Okay, I'll charades it. So if Jay came in, she goes A or B.
Where's daddy? Where's
Where's my
Where's
dad?
my
Right,
dad?
my daddy. Where's my father? A or B. Right. So A, where? B, my father. Okay. Oh, since I just gave you this one, yes, this is fun.
mine Nabi?
Right.
Mine Nabi. What?
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 What father? No, not what.
No, Nabi.
What prophet?
What prophet? So there's something missing there. So we have what? What prophet?
Mom?
Right? Question. And the thing that we don't see there is, can also be there hiddenly. Okay? What is a prophet? Because it's an action. Prophet's not just a person, but the prophet appears within an action. So what is a prophet? What prophet? Right? And then the prophet has to be something also. It has to be doing the function of prophet. So it's not only a what, but a who. In that same question. You can't be it and not be doing it. Right? Just like the father. You can't be a father and not be a father. So this is considered the to be verb. It's being just by the nature of what it is. All right? Give you another one. I was trying to find something with that final noon in it, just to mess with your brains a little bit. Let's see. What about? Oh, I gave you this one. Let's give you this one. I gave you hine here and write out for you. This is one that you'll actually hear a lot in scripture. When Samuel was called, right? He goes, go back and tell him, here I am. This is what he said. He said, hine. Isaiah, hine. Daniel, hine. Here. Here. So that here I am is not necessary because you can say ani hine, like I hear, but the fact that you're here, you am. You don't need the am part. Right, you're am, right? You are the am. You are the to be.
Damn right.
Okay? Right?
Just say right.
Right. Fine.
And that means here?
Here.
Okay.
And let me give you this, since it's here. What this dot does in a noon, last thing I'll give you. When a dot is like in the middle of a word, double pronunciation. So you hear me say hine,
Okay.
right? It's not like he, a, or hine, hine. Both words get the n sound. Hine. Right, not hine, hine. It's like on each end of the consonant in the middle. Yeah, that's so you'll see that sometimes. Don't let it mess you up because you naturally kind of do it anyways. Just know, don't say ooh, because there's a dot in the middle, right? Just say hine. Don't let that throw you off. It's just giving you that's a double consonant. Like apple. You don't say apple. 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 Jay, she'd be like apple. I'm like, no. Ellie is you know? Apple. No. Just hine. Don't trip up on it. Don't be trying to add extra. So then I will not get your dialect and I'll be like, is he having a stroke, bro? Okay, so for homework, so before we get to next week, if you don't have these materials, you can go on Heroic Roots and download under Hebrew lessons. there's a Learn Biblical Hebrew 1. And you can go through, and we're on page 23. And you can go through, 22, I'm sorry, and you can play with what we were just working with, going around making sure those words are familiar. And then start going over those vowel points, saying them like we were doing. We're like, like go through them and say them out loud. Don't try to like focus so much on what they are. Mental picture, say it, move on. The more you do it, the more you'll get familiar. I found a new Hebrew alphabet video, and it's a little girl named Shavanya. So if you have YouTube, she has a channel, and she does the days of the week, but she also does the alphabet and the colors, and it's to better music. I don't know who makes the music, if it's her mom or her dad or whoever, but they got like some nice beats. Kids love them. You'll love them. It's not the simple it's not that. It's like it's funky. So find that. It'll help you. It's Hebrew. Play it over and over again, at least once a day. And believe me, just hearing those sounds, you'll be able to process what's happening here every week. Okay, so
What's her name?
Shavanya. Shavanya.
How do you spell that?
Shavonyah.
Did you write it?
Yes.
I just put an A instead.
I could be spelling it wrong, but you should.
Sound it out right.
Shavonyah. Shavanya. She's like, it's your girl Shavanya. Shalom, Yeladim. Like, I'd be like, yes, getting it. Download, subscribe to the channel. I don't know if they're posting new stuff, but the stuff they have is really good. Kids love it, love it, love it. Next week we'll go over a couple of things that I mentioned, and then we're gonna get back into reading through Genesis chapter 1, because I feel like now we don't feel so foreign with the words. We can kind of go back and begin at verse 3 and work our way through and begin translating, because I've been going through it weekly, and I've noticed that the more I read through it, I'm like reading through it like, you know, I said you like when kids go seesaw at run, or I'd be like cat hat, cat holds a bat, and I'm like, there's no hold in there, it's just like cat bat. But you start to, the story becomes familiar, so you begin to say it more fluidly. So I want to go back, try verse 3, and see if our brains and our mouths begin processing and understanding these words and the vowels and whatnot. I don't know if we're going to show that video first before you go.
Yeah.
You want to do that?
So you can end this video.
And then you'll just put it on?
Yeah.
Okay. So if you are online watching, Moriosh is going to come on. We're going to kind of recap what happened at the women's conference. We've got some exciting news about a couple other things that's happened. And we want to share that with you. So go ahead and switch over. If you are not subscribed, it's just Moriosh, right? Moriosh?
Moriyoshiyahu.
Moriyoshiyahu. Why are you looking at me like that?
Don't you know who I am?
You don't know who my channel is? Huh? You don't know me? You don't know me. All right, shalom. Right.
Can you just do it on that phone? 'Cause I don't know how to do it on this one. I need to use this phone.
Yeah,
Can you just switch the account on that one?
I already did it.